Let me just fix something real quick.
It's time for fight chat.
All right, there we go. A lot better. A lot better.
What's up, everybody? We got a very special guest for you today. He's an up-and-coming bantamweight prospect coming off a head kick finish in his UFC debut, making it his second win by finish in 2020, 12-3 in his pro MMA career. Give it up for Adrian Yanez. What's up, man? How's it going?
Man, it's going great, man. Thank you for having me on, man.
Thanks for coming on, man. Let's get right into it. Your striking is beautiful to watch. Did you start off boxing before getting into MMA?
No, man. Jiu-jitsu was my first actual like combat sport that I've actually participated in. Oh, hold on. No shit. Okay. Yeah, funky. Let me hold on. All right, cool. We should be good now. Sorry about that. Uh, I did do like karate for about a year or two, whenever I was like 5, but that was about it. So I really don't count that as much. Uh, like I started jujitsu whenever I was 15, but also my dad was an amateur boxer back in his day. So if I learned any boxing, like my dad showed me some, and but after that, after my first amateur fight, I actually went to Metro Fight Club, the gym that I'm at now, and like got all my striking from my coach, Sauce Solis, pretty much.
Okay. Was your dad the one that got you into fighting?
Yeah, like like he got me into he pretty much uh like had fights on all the time, and it just was one of those things I just fell in love with, just watching, just seeing it all around, and just like even the games that we would buy, they were mostly be like Mortal Kombat or like wrestling games, something combative. So it was just one of those things that like once I actually got to do it and actually got to train, like it was just like, yeah, I fell in love with the sport. I fell in love with all combat sports. It's just phenomenal to watch, man. I absolutely love it.
Nice, man. And speaking of your impressive boxing, I'm sure you've heard a lot of people compare you to the one and only Jorge Masvidal. How does that comparison make you feel?
And it honestly makes me feel really, really good, man. Jorge Masvidal, man, he has like really good, slick boxing. There's a lot of times where even against the fence, there's a little highlight clip of Kamaru Usman throwing a whole combination at him against the fence where you really don't have much to move, and Jorge Masvidal made Kamaru miss almost every single punch, and he just standing back, making it look easy. You know, even then, like that's like to me, that's really slick. That's really nice. And even whenever like you watch him fight Jake Ellenberger, when he's fighting him, he's making it look super easy. Then he fought that dude uh he fought a guy who came down from middleweight to welterweight and knocked him out pretty easily, man. It would I've just been a fan of him for a very long time, man. I love how slick his boxing is. His hands are crisp, and it's really great to get the comparison.
I'm sure, man. And are there any other fighters that you look up to? I know Silva was a big one, right?
Oh yeah, Silva is one like really big one for me, especially like if you weren't a fan of Anderson Silva, you really weren't a fan of MMA. It's either you loved him or you hated him, because of the Chael Sonnen stuff. But no, he was just one of those guys that like put you in awe almost every single time he fought. So of course, man, I had like this big love and admiration for him, and it was actually like a really big honor to fight on his last UFC event. So to me, it was great. Another big one that I looked up to is Cain Velasquez. Cain Velasquez is, just for a lot of reasons. First heavyweight combative sports like Mexican champion, Mexican American champion. Like to me, that like showed me that I could do it if I put myself like if I push myself hard enough. He's pretty much like he pretty much to me was like one of my biggest role models, man. Even whenever there was an expo down here in Houston, and my dad actually took me to that expo, because Cain Velasquez was gonna be there, and I got a signature from him and everything, and I think I was like 16, 17, and I actually held up the line because I was telling Cain Velasquez like, hey, like you mean like a lot to me. It's like thank you for like thank you for doing what you're doing and like putting such a good positive thing out there. Like thank you so much. You're a great role model. And then my dad ended up getting his hat autographed by Cain Velasquez, and he would wear it to every fight, and my brother wears it to every fight, so it's pretty cool.
That is cool, man. And you train out of Metro Fight Club in Houston, right?
Yeah,
How long have you been training there, and how's that experience been for you?
man, it's been going great, man. I've been there for I would say about 9, close to 10 years. Close to 10 years. I got started at another gym for 2.5, almost 3 years. Uh, I got my purple belt with them, and then after that, I switched over to Metro because it was more MMA based and like MMA oriented, not just jujitsu. Because I really had the aspirations of fighting, so that's where I saw a lot of fighters are coming out of that gym. So that's exactly where I went to. I wanted to go to a gym where like it was just MMA, like everything that they did, it was incorporated into MMA, and went there and I never left. We just had such a great like first year together that it was just like one of those things that I'm never leaving this gym. So I've been nothing but great, having great experiences with the gym. And also my coach Saul Solis, man, he's helped me get here. So man, there's no no complaints here, man.
Okay, okay. Going back a bit, you fought in Fury, LFA, and now, even though your last two fights lasted a total of less than 3.5 minutes, do you feel like the competition has changed at all since you've now fought in the Contender Series and the UFC? Or is it just another day at work for you?
And I feel like it's one of those things that is like it does feel like another day at work, and I feel comfortable in there, and then like I'm ready to go again. Uh, I will give this a little bit of a minute. Like I will admit it. My Brady 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 Hong, he's a good fighter, but I was already fighting competition at the levels of like people like Miles Johns and who's already in the UFC. I went to a close split decision with him, uh, and I was already fighting those high level guys. So once I got to Brady, uh, he's a good fighter, but I've already been fighting really really good fighters who are in the UFC. So and then my next fight, Victor Rodriguez. I've already fought like people that were tougher than those two guys in the regional circuit. So to me, it was really easy just to get that smooth going. But to me, like you see where Miles and Domingo and all those guys that I lost to that are in the UFC, like they're fighting and they're competing at that level. So for me, like it's just super easy. And then plus on top of that, I had this other mentality of like this mentality like after I took that loss, like I'm not letting this happen again. Like I'm not letting it happen. I was like, I got in my own head. Now nothing's in my head. Now I'm just like honestly, like Brady and Victor are probably way tougher than what I did to them that night. But I just had this whole another mentality of like I'm not letting this fight go to the judges or anything. I'm gonna finish them, and I'm gonna finish them very convincingly. So it's a mixture of like I've already fought like some of the best outside the organization. Now I get to fight the best in the organization, and at that low level tiers where I'm at, especially like coming into the UFC, I'm fighting those guys who are on the back end, like trying to fight up to get up into the higher ranks. For me, I'm comfortable. I don't feel out of place. I wouldn't feel out of place if I was up there with the top 20, the guys in the top 20, but I have to work my way up there anyway. So either way, man, I feel like I've already fought some of the best in the United States. Now trying to fight the best in the world.
Fair enough. And, the bantamweight division is no slouch. And looking past your next opponent for a second, do you have a list of fighters that you would want to fight to slowly work your way up to that top 20 milestone?
Well, right now I know I do have Gustavo Lopez, which is a really tough fight ahead of me. I try not to look past fights. I try not to look past fights, but I know one fight for sure that I really want to get in is that dude that called me out. He called me out after he fought Luke Sanders. Nathan Maness or Maines. I don't know if I'm butchering his name, but it's a fight, so I don't care. So yeah, man, he called me out, man. You get look, man, you say my name, you got to get it. So that right after my fight with Gustavo Lopez, man, me and Nathan, we can lock horns and we can go at it. I think that would actually be the perfect fight for me because he was already calling out people who are in the top 15 and everything, like Nathaniel Woods, along with myself. So he's already putting me up there with those guys. So, to me, I'm just like, all right, cool. You think I'm at that level? Or actually, matter of fact, he actually said it's a slow burn if you were to fight me. And I'm just like, I kind of took that as a little bit of a, like, it's a shot because he thinks he's going to walk over me. And I'm just like, no, that ain't happening, man. You say it's a slow burn, man, but you about to get cooked. It's like, I'm about to whip your ass. So, he's next on the list. Like, Gustavo Lopez for sure has my full intentions. But immediately after that fight's over, Nathan is up next. And after that, whoever else the UFC wants to give me, I'm game for anybody. Like I haven't turned down a fight whatsoever, so I'm not gonna start now.
Okay. Speaking of your next opponent, Gustavo Lopez. He's 12-5, fairly new in the UFC, training out of Extreme Couture in Vegas. What's your mindset like going into this training camp, and how do you see this fight playing out?
Man, going into this training camp, I know I'm gonna have to be ready for war. That guy is a no quit type of guy. He's an absolute savage. Like a lot of people don't know this. He's fairly new. He took that fight with that dude Mershad hard last name. He took he It was like he's already in the top 15. He took it on a week's notice. Lost by decision, but that dude had no quit in him whatsoever in that fight, and that was a weak notice against the guy who's already in the top 15. That dude's a dog. He's an absolute dog. Then he goes out there against Anthony Burchek and takes him down, submits him. Man, I gotta say like this, man. That dude's a fighter. He's a scrapper. He also is in the outside organizations like in Combates. He's had some fairly good wins. He had some really good wins and fought some good people. Man, I'm expecting a war. I'm expecting a war. I wouldn't expect anything else. He's a Mexican fight. He's a Mexican fighter. I'm a Mexican American fighter. We're gonna go in there. We're gonna step into the cage and we're gonna duke it out. And that's what I'm ready for. I'm preparing for the finish. I'm preparing to finish him. I want to get him out of there. But man, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go for a 3-round war if need be. I'm ready to dig down deep, and that's exactly what I'm gonna do. And whenever I dig deep, I know I'm gonna finish him.
Sounds good. And seeing how a lot of these fighters nowadays are taking these quick turnaround fights, is that something you would consider as well? Or do you prefer to properly take the time and prepare for your next opponent?
Yeah, man. After the last one, I definitely wanted a quicker turnaround, just to get in there and fight again. So especially with my last two, my contenders fight, went out there, only spent like less than 40 seconds in there, less than 40 seconds in that fight. I wanted a quicker turnaround, but luckily, the opportunity to fight on Anderson Silva's undercard was there, uh, and at the time it was the only option that I got. So I was like, yeah, I'll take it. It's 100%. I'll take it. And then the next one, right after that, after I knocked out Victor, I wanted to fight December 19th, actually next week, but like I actually ended up ended up getting sick, caught COVID, went through that whole process. So everything's working out the way it should be. So March 20th is a lot of time for me to get ready. So it just helps me out, that everything's happening at these pivotal moments where it's the right time. And I feel March 20th is going to be the perfect time for me anyways, because man, once I get full training camps in and I actually get to sit down and actually study everybody, study my opponent, and actually sit down and just take a look at the landscape of the division, I can start making my next moves. and start seeing what I can do and where I can go after it. So it's really it's it's a curse, but also a blessing that that I'm like it's times it's a little bit of time in between the fights, but I'm still just a little bit, man. I didn't get hurt. I want to go back in there, but I'm kind of glad that it is taking us a little bit of time, you know.
All right, and I'm sure you're gonna be watching the fights tonight, right?
Oh yeah,
It's a
for
stacked card.
sure, man.
Now I don't want to go through the whole card, but for the main and co-main, let's have your picks. Starting with the co-main, Ferguson versus Oliveira. Who do you have winning that fight?
Man, I really have Tony Ferguson winning this, but I wouldn't be surprised if Oliveira somehow pulls it off. But I do see Tony Ferguson pulling it off just because you've seen some quit in Oliveira and you've seen no quit in Tony. To me, I feel like those guys kind of mirror each other a lot of ways. You know, they have like pretty good stand up, and um, I say Oliveira is a little bit more technical with it, but Tony is a bit more wild. He'll go out there and throw the wild stuff just because he's not afraid to go to the ground with you. They're both of them are really slick on the ground, and I honestly would love to see that. I would actually pay just to see them grapple, just to see them grapple. So, man, I would give my edge to Tony, and if I'm gonna go as far as calling what and how, I would say third round TKO Tony Ferguson.
Nice, nice. What about Figueiredo versus Moreno?
Man, I bet it against Figueroa against Alex Perez, and sad to say, I'm gonna do it again. I'm really hoping Brandon Moreno pulls it off. I'm not gonna doubt the skill of Figgy, but you know, my mom comes from Mexico. I'm a Mexican American, and I just love Brandon Moreno's story, and you can see all the positivity that he has, and then it all just flips as soon as he steps in that cage and he turns into a monster. He's an animal, and I'm really hoping he pulls this off and becomes the new flyweight champion.
Can't disagree with that. I know I've taken up a lot of your time, so I have one last question for you. If Adrian Yanez wasn't a fighter today, what would he be doing?
Oh man, that's a hard question, man. I don't know. I really don't know. I'd probably be doing something differently, man. I have no idea. I love fighting. Like it's actually like it pretty much consumed everything around me, man. Like literally, it's consumed everything around me. Like anything I do, it's like fighting, 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 man. I don't know. I would probably be working like an outside day job, man. I can't stand being on the inside doing inside work. I just hate being inside. I'd rather be outside, honestly. So some outside type of thing, possibly, like after high school, uh, like I graduated. I think I was a Texas. I graduated with a Texas scholar because of for welding. I did. I was I was decent at it. I probably would have been a welder or something. All around here in Houston, it's all big plants and everything. So I probably would have went into the plants or something chemical wise. So I'm kind of really glad I found fighting because I didn't want to do any of that.
Well, I'm glad you're in the UFC. Your striking and movement definitely separate you from the pack, and that head kick finish and those 2 submission wins under your belt show us that you're more than just a striker. So thanks again for coming on, and we look forward to your fight in March. The floor is yours. Any call outs, any shout outs, go for it, man.
Oh man, yeah, yeah, no call outs, man. I already got pretty much two guys. Gustavo, we're gonna be fighting March 20th, and Nathan, don't worry, you're gonna get yours. Don't worry, you're gonna get it. And man, I just want to say a big thank you to my coach Saul Solis. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be in the position I am today. Iridium Sports Agency, Jason House, and those guys, man, they take care of me. They take very, very good care of me. Uh, HK USA, they supplied me with all my training gear for all my needs, during training camps. Also, I just got hooked up with some smart sweets, man. Only like I just had like a sugary, it's not sugary, but like sugar covered gummy bears and only had 4 grams of sugar. And to me, that's like holy crap! Like I can actually eat like some some like sweets and it'd still be like healthier for you. And I'm like, man, that's not bad. But man, yeah, just thank you for having me on, man. Everybody can follow me on Instagram at Adrian Yanez 93, at Twitter at Yanez MMA, and on Facebook, man. I haven't hit that 5,000 limit, so you can still friend request me. So man, thank you for the time, man.
All right, thanks a lot. Good luck on your next fight, man.
Thank you, man.